Singleton Shire President, Councillor Neil McNamara, officially opened the special care room in the presence of hospital staff, members of the Hunter Valley Cancer Appeal and other cancer support groups. The Hunter Valley Cancer Appeal donated $5,000 for the refurbishment of the old hospital room. The effect is a private and restful room where relatives are able to stay with the patient overnight. A sofa bed has been provided for this purpose. President of the appeal group, John Mansfield, says the room is available to any patient needing this style of special care.
No, it's not specifically for cancer patients, it's for people that need of special care.
And what sort of people would they be?
People maybe that are quite ill and need comforting from their family, this type of illness.
Each year, Singleton District Hospital treats more than 100 cancer patients. The installation of the special care room means that Upper Hunter patients in need of long-term nursing care can now expect the same standard of rooming facilities already available in Newcastle.
The Maritime Service Board plan aims at developing a major recreational boating centre on the harbour. Under the proposal, the Cowper Street Bridge at Wickham would be completely rebuilt and raised 2 metres. Throsby Creek north of the bridge would then be developed for motorboats, extensively landscaped, and light industries and showrooms associated with boating encouraged to move in. The wool sheds on Hannell Street are on MSB land, and these are likely to be demolished to make way for the development. On the other side of the bridge, the MSB wants the fishing fleet to be moved to Stockton and facilities for maxi yachts installed. Port manager Captain Brian Ramage says the people of Newcastle need a pleasure boating facility on the harbour, and he says their plan won't interfere with shipping in the port.
The harbour won't be used for boat races and those sort of things. What we'll be doing is providing accommodation, a haven for a stopover for visiting yachts, for people that own yachts in the region, and of course they'll be able to traverse the harbour to go to sea.
The 24 one-bedroom apartments will be built on the corner of Hopkins, Union and Merriweather Streets near the junction. The construction is part of the state government's land and housing package program, with local builders W. Stronach the successful tenderer. The apartments will be modern and contain 1 bedroom, a lounge dining room, a kitchen and a bathroom laundry. They're due for completion in July next year and will be allocated to pensioners on the Department of Housing's waiting list. The Housing Commission says they are in an ideal location, being close to shops and public transport. The state government has also let 2 other Housing Commission developments in Mayfield. 8 one-bedroom pensioner apartments will be built in Watson Street at a cost of $376,000. In Wilson Street, Mayfield, 4 family townhouses will be built at a cost of $322,000. Those projects will be complete in April-May next year.
School's out for summer holidays, and for Year 6 students the end of the school year is also the end of their primary education. At the Junction Public School, the outgoing seniors were farewelled with the traditional clapping out Guard of Honour. When students return to school in '87, the new 4-term year will be in effect. The school calendar will be divided into 4 10-week terms, punctuated by 4 holiday breaks, totalling 12 weeks. The new school terms are February the 2nd to April the 15th, April the 27th to July the 3rd, July 20th to September 25, with the final term beginning on October the 12th and ending on December the 18th. Another change for '87 will be the lowering of the age limit for kindergarten children to allow the enrolment of those who turn 5 before August the 1st. But today, all thoughts were on the school holidays ahead.
You happy that school's over this year?
Yes.
And what are you going to do during the school holiday?
Go to the beach and go to baths.
Year 6 students scrambled to record the autographs of their peers, and some reflected on the end of school life.
Let's set loose from this terrible disaster. Yeah, a piece of cake, that's it.
In tonight's news, the holiday period on the region's roads has begun badly. A head-on collision involving 2 cars this morning at Dawson. 3 people were taken to Royal Newcastle Hospital. 2 of those people remain in serious condition.
Join Ray Janine and Anna Manzoni for all the news tonight at 6.
Hello, I'm Karen Lemming. One of the largest bulk carriers ever to enter Newcastle Harbour steamed into port today. Making its maiden voyage, the China Fortune, a Taiwanese vessel, is taking Newcastle coal to Europe.
Join Ray Janine and Anna Manzoni for all the news tonight at 6.
Just after 10 this morning, a goodly field of what turned out to be high-class runners heeded the start gun fired by Parramatta Rugby League coach John Money, who then wisely did as we did and caught a car to the top. Many of the runners underestimated what was before them and took off like rabbits. But the best of them lurked in the middle of the field, knowing that enthusiasm would not be enough. After 500 metres of flat going, they hit the wall, or so it seemed, and the class showed with runners dropping out as if shot. 2GO sports star and pro runner of the year Glenn Ritchie was the hometown hero and looked pretty safe if straining as they reached the 3/4 mark. Then along came Jamie Harrison of Sydney, a place getter in a Zatopek 10,000k run in Melbourne earlier in the week. But with the crowd behind him, Ritchie scrambled home with Australia's orienteering champion Morris Ongania in 3rd spot. For Ritchie, it was all in a day's work.
I run yesterday and it just got to me, and then I nearly stopped at one stage and I thought, no, I can't stop, so I kept going and Jamie tired, so then I kicked again and come at him and won, luckily.
Looked to be tough.
It was very tough. I had to keep running afterwards because I was too sore.
.300 local members met at the Newcastle City Hall this morning and voted overwhelmingly in favour of the stoppage if no progress is made in discussions with employers. The union mounted its income protection campaign in October last year and began industrial action on the issue in November this year. This morning's stop work meeting was part of the second round of meetings, and the decision is an escalation of industrial action in the dispute. The union is calling for discussions on 3 issues.
Well, the major problem is the fact that bank employees have suffered the imposition of fringe benefit tax. When it was designed as a tax on employers, the employers are seeking to pass that tax on to employees. In addition to that, bank employees have not been successful in achieving a 3% improvement in their superannuation schemes through the productivity case. And the third component of our campaign deals with a restructuring of our awards to make them more relevant to the 1980s and beyond.
Since November, the union has implemented lunchtime closures of some banks and bans on marketing of bank products. The union says the action is aimed at the employers and not at affecting the public.
Well, at the moment the bans that have been imposed have been lifted to give the banks an opportunity to negotiate with the union, and if they don't negotiate, then the members today authorised a 24-hour stoppage on the 29th of December.
At this stage, police believe the driver may have passed out at the wheel, causing the Commodore station wagon to spear off the road into the tree. Paramedics and the police rescue squad freed the 24-year-old woman, who comes from the Sydney suburb of Campbelltown. She suffered severe facial lacerations, 2 broken arms and a broken leg. Her 24-year-old passenger was also injured. He received major cuts to the face, a broken leg and chest and neck injuries. Both are now in the Royal Newcastle Hospital. It was a sad beginning to the couple's Christmas holiday.
Hello everyone, I'm Mark Warren. Police are investigating the abduction and brutal sexual assault of a 3-year-old girl early this morning. Police say the girl was taken from her bedroom in a house in Alexander Parade, Charlestown, assaulted, then dumped at Boomerang Park, 8 kilometres away at Mayfield West.
Join Ray Deneen and John Church for all the news tonight at 6.
For young children, Christmas starts in the early hours of the morning when it's time to unwrap the gifts. Mum, Dad and all the family join in the fun. Yesterday, many families took time out to observe the religious festival of Christmas. All churches say more people attended various Christmas Eve and Christmas Day masses this year than in recent years, pointing to a resurgence of the spirituality of the season. And of course, Christmas Day for most means food, and usually far too much of it. Families and friends enjoyed big lunches of traditional fare, or for some there was the simpler option of just enjoying a picnic at the beach. On a less happy note, police reported an increase in domestic violence and larrikinism in the streets. On the 1st of December, the police launched an intensive campaign to make this Christmas a safe one on the roads. And it appears they've been successful. Christmas and Boxing Days have seen no road fatalities and very few injuries. The police have maintained a high profile as a deterrent, and the officer in charge of the Newcastle Highway Patrol, Kevin Curry, says this has been a main factor in the road safety.
We feel that with the positive police presence, with the combination of our new random breath testing along with the speed enforcement, that people have not only been stopped but they've actually seen police officers performing that task, which on occasions of a night time they don't see, and therefore they don't get that reminder.
A major part of the road safety campaign has been a crackdown on speeding. A message from the Highway Patrol this holiday season is don't think you can avoid detection by driving in the early hours of the morning. Police rosters have changed to maintain a strong 24-hour patrol, and just this morning between 4 a.m. and 8 a.m, more than 100 motorists were taken for speeding. And if you think you can get away with driving with one too many drinks under your belt, in the last 9 days more than 5,000 motorists have been breathalyzed, with a third more drivers being booked for PCA than last year. Surprisingly, many of those motorists have been picked up between 8 and 9 in the morning. Police will maintain their high level of road patrols throughout the holiday season, and their advice for those planning a big New Year's celebration is this.
Remember that we are working those long hours, and they should think about limiting their alcohol and limiting their speed. And that's what we're all about. We'll be looking for the speeding motorist and those that just drink too much. Leave the car at home.
Suffered head injuries when she was hit by the car while crossing the Pacific Highway. A team of paramedics stabilised the girl's condition. Port Newcastle rescue helicopter transferred her to the Royal. The girl is expected to remain in hospital for several days under observation. Meantime, at Bar Beach today, a young man suffered a fractured skull and a broken arm. He fell through the roof of the surf pavilion. Ambulance officers say the man's beach towel was blown onto the asbestos roof. The man bent over to pick it up, lost balance and fell head first. He landed on a steel-covered concrete drain, protruding onto the floor of the pavilion. Two off-duty nurses and a surf lifesaver assisted the man until ambulance officers arrived. He was then taken in serious condition to the Royal Newcastle Hospital.
What about this?
Every person who tows a caravan has to start sometime, and if this year is your debut, the NRMA warns you to take special care. According to the association, many people take to the highway with little or no towing practice. They lack the experience to handle strong crosswinds, which can buffet a van and affect its stability. A caravan's stability can also be thrown into chaos by incorrect packing, and this can be magnified by winds generated by large overtaking vehicles. NRMA spokesman Lindsay Somerville said novice caravanners should not despair because there are a number of straightforward steps they can take to ease themselves into towing.
Or even just to go around the block a few times, just to practice the way that the van will take a corner, how she'll handle in a bit of traffic, stopping, especially brakes and so forth. One of the other things we'd like to try and organise, if people have the space or the area around them, is to try and get a hold of a disused parking lot. Practice their turns, their parking, reversing, in that type of environment where they can cause no problem if something goes wrong.
The NRMA also recommends this book, which is packed with handy hints to help you tow a caravan safely.
Sander Bob Rutley. After a time trial, there's trouble. Dave Anderson the races for the Big Bangers took place to reduce the field from 26 to just 16 for the 25-lap Winfield International. The track was to the liking of most drivers, and some fast racing was the order of the night. The eventual placings were Randy Kinser, national champ Brett Lacey, and the popular Gary Rush.
But we've got Randy Kinser now, out in front, one to go, then Brett Lacey, then Gary Rush, over the line Rutley, then Bobby 54 is in fact Bobby Tunks, but it's going to be all Randy Kinser, round the straightaway, and wins it well, great drive, second is the national champ, Brett Lacey, then Gary Rush, then the 50...
Formula 500 star Roy Earp was declared fit and well if badly shaken after this amazing prank that saw him hit the top of the safety catch
car there. Whoa, big turn, big 55 car it is. Whoa, went big right turn, up over there.
And now in slow motion, so you can count the somersaults.
Flying machine, they go up to the up, they go down to the down. They trample the ladies and steal all the scene with their up to the up, and their down to the down. Up, down, flying around, looping the
Harvesting of the wheat crop in the upper Hunter areas of Merriwa, Denman, Scone and Musselbrook is almost complete. It's clear the final yields will be significantly down on average. The Grain Handling Authority had initially expected to receive 17,000 tonnes at its Merriwa silo. It revised that figure down to 9,000 tonnes, but with most of the fields harvested, it has received only 5,500. But that's just part of the grim picture for the wheat industry in the Hunter this year. At Aberdeen, the silo has not even been opened because there is simply not enough wheat to justify it. According to the Singleton District agronomist Neil Nelson, wheat farmers have suffered from stiff international competition and no rain.
Police blocked off roads around the house in 4th Street, Adamstown, when the alarm was raised just after 12:30 this afternoon. A woman had fled the house and telephoned police, saying she'd been threatened with a shotgun. The woman and her 31-year-old de facto husband had apparently argued over the custody of their 18-month-old baby boy. The child was held inside the house, and a special police negotiator was called in. After about half an hour, a man walked out of the back door of the house unarmed and carrying the child, who was unharmed.
The man surrendered without any shots being fired, and is in custody now and is being conveyed to Hamilton Police Station, where he'll be questioned further by the detectives there.
The man has been charged with several assault and firearm offences.
5 of the 6 locals in the state team put in some training at the Newcastle Baths yesterday in preparation for the national title. The state team gets together in Sydney this weekend, where they'll go through some intensive training. The 6 locals put in outstanding performances at the recent inter-branch titles to earn their places in the state side. For junior surf lifesavers, the nationals are as far as they can go. Fingal Bay's Troy Dowker and Hugh Bonney were members of the state team last year, with Dowker winning 5 events then. This year, his brother Ty joins him in the team, as do Peter Watts and Drew Blatchford from Swansea Belmont. Those 5 will contest the water events, while the 6th member, Andrew Lydiard of Merriweather, will do his bit in the flags, sprints and relays on the beach.